What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers. When we left off in the last episode, we had designed this drill platform, or mining platform. I'm calling it the Moon Miner, for lack of a better term. It's not all that fancy, but it'll get the job done. So we're back in the survival world, and I've actually got it set up to be built, essentially. Though I'm remembering why I didn't like doing large grid structures or ships, because they're frickin' expensive. I did the math, and if my math was right, for 25 drills that I've got here and the 4 gyroscopes, it was going to be almost 10,000 iron, which probably for some of you doesn't sound like that much, but it's a lot to me, okay? So, let's just leave it at that. So I actually I found a whole bunch of stone on the shooting star, which I guess was, I don't know when I loaded that up. I forgot all about it. We used all that. And then I also offloaded all the stuff from this container. I'm guessing when the Exogorth dug the hole for the connector was from what that was from. We're more than likely already through most of that, to be honest. Let's see. The refinery's already mined all of it, so what did we end up with? I don't see any iron here, which means we're still about 2,000 short. So I need about 11,000 more, and that's just for some of the basic components. Though, I am going to try and finagle this a little bit. So what I'm going to try to do, I've already got all of the steel plates in the drills. The rest is just construction components, large steel tubes, etc. Computers and motors and whatnot. The gyroscopes, though, I have an interesting little plan. I don't really know that I need 4. 4 is probably way overkill for what I'm doing. Even as it stands, when I made the blueprint for this, I have the gyroscope set to 50% power. So yeah, I think 4 is probably overkill. But so what I'm going to do is actually just do 1 for now. That'll save me a lot of steel, but it'll also let me still control the alignment of the ship. So that's what I think we're going to do. As for this guy, I think I'm going to cannibal this, because this is empty now. Though the only problem with it, this is kind of one of those domino effect things. The only problem with stealing from this is that I don't have another setup for the Exogorth, which is probably what I'm going to need to drill with to get the resources that I need. You see how this is kind of dominoing? So yeah, there's that. So we got this set up here. What is the hydrogen tank? Steel plates. Okay, we have enough steel plates to do that. What's next? I think a conveyor? Oh, no, it was the oxygen generator. Okay, we don't have enough plates for that. Let's go grab some more. So, yeah, that's kind of going to be the big juggling act at the moment. Though, how many steel plates did we end up with? Is that all that we have left? Oh, boy. We're really low. So, it's not really so much that we're like low in terms of we're out of resources, it's more just that this is requiring a crap ton of them. So that's that. And I'll probably wait till I can weld all those up before going further out. Let's see, though I could... Oh, I don't have any more interior plates? Well, phooey. The batteries, what are batteries going to cost me? See, that's not too much steel. That's only 100. Power cells are probably going to be the most expensive part of that. Conveyors are conveyors. They're relatively cheap. What are we looking at for a thruster? See, thrusters don't even have that much steel in them. They're more the cobalt for the metal grids. So, really, the bulk of the steel that we needed to do was down here. And I think, did I get all the gyro? Yeah, this one's done other than the computers and the metal grids. So we shouldn't really need too much more steel, but we will need some. Because, let's interior plate, I mean, we'll still need steel for interior plates. That's done. And yeah, so we'll still need some, but I probably won't need a ton. The other thing that I think I want to do is I've been playing around in my head with different locations on how to connect this up once we get it going. Now, obviously, I'm going to leave the ring here hollow, I think. But what I think I'm going to do is bring a conveyor line under this beam and put a sorter right here. Because if we actually use this with Pam, we're going to need a sorter. Hence, we found that out the hard way on this one over here. So I'll probably do a sorter there. And then, depending on... Well, I'll either put a sorter here or here. It'll just depend on the easiest way to align it. And then do pistons with a connector on the end all the way out to here so that it can then connect to it. That's what I'm thinking. It'll probably be a good amount of resources, but conveyors are relatively cheap. They're not uber expensive, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I've also picked out a spot, I think, for a hangar. Now, some of you are probably going, what? I'm designating this the mining ring out here. I don't know if I'll go any wider than this ring in the inner ring here, and maybe the outer ring will just be a perimeter frame. But I don't know. I guess I could put a hangar in this section here. That might work. For now, anyway. Because I was actually thinking of this crater over here. I found another crater that I kind of liked. I needed a relatively bigger one. So I was kind of thinking this one for a hangar. Also has this kind of like canyon entryway that I was thinking if we did any kind of rovers, you could roll them in that way. So that would be kind of convenient instead of trying to take them out of a crater. Like that's kind of in a crater, but it's got a gap for an entry point. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know. A couple of people mentioned a hangar for the capital ship, and I was like, I don't know about that, because the capital ship I have in my head, I haven't designed the exterior, but in terms of scale, I wanted it to be able to house 2 or 3 shooting stars. Not like one big door, but like maybe 2 side hangars, 1 ventral hangar, or something like that. But the ability to hold 2 to 3 ships this size would mean it's got to be pretty hefty. So I don't know exactly where I would put a hangar that size. Maybe like out here in this flat area or something. But I don't know if I could put it in a crater. I didn't actually realize how large the crater for the mining area was until I started looking at some of the smaller ones. But anyway, I'm going to pause for a minute. I may just take the Exogorth and have it do some excavating somewhere just because, though I will have to watch for fuel. How much fuel does that even have now? I wonder. I haven't really kept up on this. So it's at 75, and it uses a lot of hydrogen because of the way that this is not designed for it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I need to get some more iron, and then I'll probably work more on getting the mining ship, or the moon miner, done. Because I think that's the goal for the day. I don't know how I'm going to do it exactly, but I want to get the moon miner done. And if possible, I'd like to get it to where it can connect up, because honestly, it'd be really nice to, between this episode and the next one, off camera, just let this thing mine when I'm not using my computer, just have Space Engineers running for a minute. That'd be kind of useful. So I'd kind of like to get this done, and optimally, ideally, get the connection port hooked up, which really shouldn't be too much of a problem as long as I can get the resources, because all I'm really going to do is dig a hole. I might even do that to get some resources right now, is to dig a hole here, and then basically run a conveyor line connecting up to it from back here where there's a connection port back here. That's really all I'm going to do, because I only need to come up 1 block, and I actually might keep it the same height level because of the connections. We had that issue back here where I tried to place whatchamacallit, pistons, and it wouldn't let me place them that close to a block. So, which I'm actually kind of confused about, if I'm being honest, because it's like this. It'll let you place it after the piston's there, but you can't place a piston this close to one if it's just weird. It's kind of confusing. It's one of those derpy Space Engineers things that you're kind of like, whatever. But anyways, I'm going to work on the moon miner here, try and get it up and running, and I will see you guys back when it's ready and we're ready to do a test run. Okay, so you remember when I said I was going to come back and we're going to do a test run because this will be done? Yeah, this is taking a lot longer than I expected. Now granted, one of the big issues is twofold, actually. One, I haven't really been able to let the Exogorth loose that much. It's just now at 100% for its hydrogen, but I let it do like one run over there to that hangar, I guess it's that way, hangar crater, and it barely made it back. I had to take it over manually and stuff because it didn't quite have the fuel to make it back. So that was kind of tough because this thing is not the best fuel efficient type system. It also occurred to me I'm gonna have to do the same thing with this guy to make him work too. Somehow we have less than one. Not sure how that happened. But if we look at, where are you? The hydrogen tank, we have 1%. Now granted, I've only filled it up once or twice, but still, it's gonna take it a minute before it has enough hydrogen so that we can actually descend and then come back up to a locking point. Now, and also just the sheer amount of materials this is requiring. I'm out of iron. This is like the second or third time I've been out of iron after doing some manual by hand mining as well as doing one run with the Exogorth. But on the plus side, I do have a tunnel that's been dug out here. This is where most of my extra iron has come from, and this will tie us into this junction here, which is that one there. So we can bring it out a couple blocks and then basically run another line of conveyors this way, which will keep it under this rail here. And then when we get out here, like I said before, we'll do a sorter and some pistons and whatnot and so forth. But this thing has been quite the pain, mainly because of the sheer amount of like metal grids, large steel tubes, construction components, etc. that have been required to make it. I forgot how much large builds suck. I mean, they just do. Let's see, what do we have here? So it's still, I still have some power cells I need to make and some other things. But on the plus side, this guy is full now, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna give him a go. Let's see what he does if we continue the mining job. Let's see what it does. Started with damage. Oh, that's because of the back thrusters. I've had to mess with that before because I had to break these down. So I think it screws the PAM script up a little bit. I don't think it knows what it needs to be doing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of jump start it a little bit. Let's disconnect it, and then from here, let's just hit continue. See what it'll do. Whoa! Okay, well that's not good. Come on, Pam. Sheesh. Learn to drive. But yeah, so the problem I do have with the PAM script, it's not really so much a problem as much as an inefficiency, is obviously it's a little bit of a conundrum because the script cannot know what it's doing. It's going off pure instructions, right? So it doesn't know what things are around, like that. It hit the thing trying to leave the dock, and that's because it has no way of knowing where things are. It's just going off the coordinate data that it receives from the player, right? So the hard part with that is that there's a few ways, flight-wise, you could actually make it more efficient. Like you could get here with less fuel and stuff, right? But it won't do that. So that's the hard part with Pam, is that it automates things, but it's not as efficient. And I suppose that kind of goes hand in hand with most things. If it's automated, it's going to be a little more generic. If it's been, you know, handcrafted, then, you know, it's going to be more specific. So there is that aspect to it. But that's the only part that I have a problem with, is like that. The way that I flew it out did not hit that, but yet the way that it tries to do it won't do it that way. Or I can make it there and back on, you know, like 5% of the fuel or something, but when you watch it coming over the horizon and it's doing really wonky stuff or going super slow, and you're like, just fly, you know, just do the thing. Just get here. So that can be a little bit irritating. But, yeah, I think I'm going to have to let the Exogorth run once or twice just to get the resources. And then what I've been doing in the meantime is I'm coming over here to my little ice fishing hole. Literally, I'm fishing for ice. Usually while I'm down here getting ice for the 2 ships, I'll get some stone here and there mixed in with it, and I throw that in the refinery as well. So yeah, I usually fill this up, and then I've been running that back, but the hydrogen tank on the Moon Miner, I don't know about that one. That's gonna take a minute. I forgot about it being a large grid tank, and that's gonna require a good chunk of ice. Like, that's gonna take a minute. So I'm not too sure about that one. I'm hoping we can get enough fuel for a test run. That's my hope. I'm not even too sure about that, to be honest, because it needs a lot. It needs a lot. Like, for those of you that remember how many trips the actual ice miner had to do on Earth to get the shooting star up to speed. Now, granted, I think I had 2 tanks or more on this guy. Do I have 2 or 3? Oh, 4. Okay, I meant that. I meant 2 each. That's what I meant when I said 2 or 3. So I had 4 actually to fill up there. So, I don't know. This one's only 1. Maybe it won't be as bad. We'll see. But I'm hoping that, yeah, I'm hoping that within another run or 2. Now, the other thing I have to point out with the Exogorth is it was not full when I had it go before. It was like at 70% or something. But see, it's like this. It's kind of just doing these weird maneuvers, and I can see the tank's already at like half, and you're kind of like, dude, just go. Like, get home. Why are you going so slow? You know? So sometimes, like for this, I'll actually just stop it and then basically fly it back manually, because I'm not exactly a better pilot, but I'm more efficient. That's all I know. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to... I think, I don't know, I think within this next run we might be able to get enough resources to get the new ship up and running, but I don't know, because I've already put so much iron into it to begin with that I'm really not sure if one more load from the Exogorth here is going to be enough to get the resources that I need. I hope it is, but I'm really doubting it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably gonna work on this a little bit longer. But I'm running out of daylight essentially to be done with this in the time frame that I need it to be done in. So I'm hoping we'll get this done. If not, I'll end up doing it off camera, like before the next episode or something, if we don't get it fully done. But I'm gonna try. So we're gonna do another run or 2 of the Exogorth and see what we're at. Alrighty. So I think we've got it pretty much finished. There's a few finishing touches, like I didn't do all the gyroscopes. I didn't finish all of these conveyors because they're kind of redundant. I didn't finish the secondary cockpit because reasons. I mean, it looks cool in the design, but I don't really need it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's good to go. The only problem is gonna be the fuel, because even amongst all of this time that it's taken for me to do all of this, we still have 10% in our fuel. So Yeah, not really thinking that that's enough. But what we're going to do real quick is I'm actually going to save this. And we're going to test it anyway. Because I've got a backup. Pretty sure anyway. You know what? Just to be safe, because I'm not actually sure I have a backup, let's go ahead. I usually keep about 2 or 3 saves rotating, as any avid RPG player is probably used to doing themselves. Alright, we don't really need the projector anymore, I don't believe. Because... Wait, what? Oh, yeah. I do feel like projectors need their own control panel. I don't really know why they don't have one, but you know. Somehow this is not showing a blueprint. Which is weird. That's kind of odd. But just to double check that we didn't miss anything, I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And then it should tell us... It's not going to tell... Okay, well, it just does not want to work. Alright, well... Guess you get torn down. That's what happens when you don't work. Okay, so just for testing purposes, I'm actually kind of curious as to the fuel anyway. So let's go Moon Miner. Hydro thrusters are all on. And it dropped to 4%? Hold up. What just happened? Nope, this says filled 11%. So why does my screen say 4? It must be taking into account the base's hydrogen tanks. That's got to be what it's doing. Alright. So, let's go ahead and trim these scaffold pieces off and see if it works. Alright, now we're active. I want to see how quickly we're burning fuel. So that's 12. It's not doing too bad at idle, but I mean it's idle, so... And apparently I didn't actually set up all of these, or put the drills in a group? How did that happen? I could have swore I put these in a group. Oh, whatever. Moon Miner, drills. I'm pretty sure I did that in the blueprint, but you know. What are you gonna do? Alright, let's do toggle those on and off. Okay, if I descend a little bit, and then, whoop! Without, without without any material in them, it flies up pretty quick. Now the other problem, and the reason I'm probably not going to stick with this save, I'm going to load it back up before we disconnected it at the moment, is because I don't have the docking part set up, so there's really no point in disconnecting it when I don't have any way to attach it to the base again. So we turn this on. I'm just kind of curious what kind of gains we're going to get, because I really wasn't checking that in the creative world and stuff for obvious reasons. And I still don't really know what that bar is at the top. It says on and off. Well, no, the on-off is going to be the... That's actually going to be the build info mod. So that's not it. It's got to be inventory. Or something. Because it's not like when I hit the ground. Because when I hit the ground and stuff, it still stops. And, by the way, again, please keep in mind the Patreon release system that you guys are probably... By the time you're seeing this, they're like, we commented on this in the last episode, but I haven't gotten that yet, so I don't know anything about it. Yeah, it definitely flies up really quick, but what kind of stone did we get from that? 1,000 from that right there. So this is definitely going to come in handy. And it does work, and it works pretty well. So, it's just going to be on me, and then it'll basically... So it'll dock like this, basically, because it's going to be a couple blocks lower. So what I'm thinking is I might make like a frame out of like the angle blocks or something. Actually, I could just flip them. Kind of like that type thing. And make some kind of platform so that when it's docked, you could actually just walk down the rings to it and then get on it and descend, because in theory, it's never going to go higher than the connector point. So that's kind of an idea for the next episode. But yeah, we actually have this up and running now, which is cool. So, well, I say it's up and running. I need to get more fuel for it. That's the only downside to this drill system right here, is because it's not connected as some kind of piston system that I can just descend down. I do need hydrogen to make it function, which kind of sucks, but mainly because of how quickly hydrogen gets used, although it wasn't doing too bad. I mean, we descended a little bit and we came back up. Granted, it's not fully loaded, but it still ascended within a couple points of hydrogen. It was like 1% or 2, so it's not terrible. It's just not real great either. But with that, I think we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.